Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and I'm also a doctoral student of psychology. Today, we're going to go over relationship advice that I feel may contribute to keeping some men single. This is speculative overall, opinionated. Any research that I am looking at, it's not detailed, it's not necessarily specifically research points, and any of that I am using, it's going to be in the description box. I made this video for the female version as well. So either, I don't know which one's going to be posted first. Again, this is just most of all, it's just my opinion. But a lot of you guys were asking, because I'm a therapist, what dynamics do I see? Like in my office with my caseload that might create some of these dynamics. And obviously, I can see not just from individuals, but also couples. I might see the areas where they're straining, or most likely what they've compromised in their life so that they can be together for 10 years. Even though they're in couples therapy, they still have been together for quite some time, a lot of them. And so from that perspective, obviously they're not single. And so what do they do that's different from the folks that are single, right? And I think that can be helpful to some people because some of you guys don't want to be single any longer, and this may help. So that's kind of the main goal. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, okay? So advice that I think that keep men single. The first one is focus on your career first and then women will come to you. I don't think this is always the case, because what can happen is you may not learn how to communicate, compromise, as well as learn what type of women you want. A lot of men, I think a lot of you guys know this though, especially in your younger years, you might, date women who are not necessarily the best fit for you, and your heart might get broken. And I'm very sorry that that occurred, but you learned what kind of lady is not your best match by doing so, right? And so if you just focus on your career, you may be a little bit more inexperienced, to which you might be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever it is, learning those. It's okay if that's the case, but you may learn those things, the women you don't want, much later than maybe your peers. And it might be just more challenging from that perspective. It's just harder, right? If you don't have as much experience. I'd rather you guys have a little bit more of that understanding under your belt, but it depends. It's whatever you want. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just expressing what I think might help, because I do have some patients who are much older who are in the situation where maybe he doesn't know what he wants because he focused so much on his career because he believed that that would make him find a wife someday, and it didn't work that way for him. Some people, right? Just examples. And it can work for some, but it might not work for everybody. So that's just my perspective. The next one is chase purpose, not women. I do think purpose is very helpful. However, I do not believe people are distractions. I think that that can help you understand your purpose. Let's say, for example, you met a lady who's not the best fit for you. That in of itself could have helped you find your purpose. Maybe you found that she was very distracted. Maybe you found that she was very non-communicative. Maybe you felt that she played games, whatever it is, this hypothetical lady. But you found that you don't want to be that type of person, and your purpose is leaning more towards integrity and independence and respect. But you may have found that through the vehicle of that heartbreak. And so I feel like purpose and individuals, interpersonal relationships, a collection of your life is how you find your purpose. I don't think it's one or another. I could be wrong though. That's up for you. I think that you guys might know better on that. So, tell me what your perspective is in the comments. The next one is never text first. Both genders have this one, and I find this a little silly. I do think that texting, however you naturally do, can help you know what best fits your personality. If you are a person that texts relatively quickly, it's probably in your best interest, I could be wrong, to find a person who also texts relatively quickly. It might make it easier for you, depending on how often you guys communicate text in general. I think your texting habit should not be fully adjusted, because then you're not yourself and you're not picking the right partner for yourself. I feel like it's almost like playing games if you're not being natural to how you text. And if you are texting too much, I hope that she'll just tell you and you can adjust, right? Or she might need to text more, to which she's going to adjust one way or another. I feel like that's important to figure out, especially early on in the relationship. I don't think it's the best interest for anybody if you're not naturally who you are when you're dating. I think you're not going to be able to vet that, like, the person for you, right? A lot of people, what I believe in dating in general, they're always trying to fit a mold of what they can be for another person to like them. But if you do that, you're not being yourself. And how do you know if you like they fit your life? If you're curating yourself to be what you think they want, right? You don't want to text first because you want to not be the one who loses power in the relationship, whatever that dynamic is, right? But maybe you are a person who likes to text. And so you're not letting them learn who you are. And thus you're also shutting yourself off from the opportunity, seeing that if you notice you're always the one texting first and you have a conversation about it and she's not changing, obviously this might not be the best fit for you. But you're never going to know that unless you give that opportunity to show up. And so I think that by avoiding some of these behaviors, you're not learning or vetting a person properly. That's just my perspective, okay? The next one is if you give her everything, she will leave. I hear this a lot. I don't agree with this. However, I'm not a man, and so I can't speak to that entirely. But I feel like if a person leaves you if you give them everything, like emotionally, whatever that might mean, that might be a highly abnormal person, a person who's got like trauma or maybe even some form of like abandonment issues to which they only believe. I see this a lot. Like a lot of women believe that they should be with a guy who doesn't like them so that they can change his mind and thus prove that she's lovable. And so if you are a person that loves her, then she's going to leave, something like that. I know that there's some truth to that, but how are you going to know? Like if you're playing games and withholding who you are and that's what makes her love you, you are inviting someone who's not mentally healthy within your life. You're only going to know that she's healthy if she accepts what you give her. That's just my perspective. So I feel like it's a good technique to vet somebody if you are your natural disposition and she's able to communicate what she needs and what she doesn't. I think that's an opportunity for you guys to grow as a couple, not playing games. The next one is if she is attractive, she has options and you don't have a chance. This one I hear so much, and I don't necessarily know if I agree. While there is some truth to that, I'm not saying there's not truth to it. It doesn't mean you don't have a chance. There are a lot of ladies who have a lot of options, but they don't like a lot of their options. And I know that's hard to hear, but it's true. And I'm sure you guys have been a man who probably was somebody that wasn't an option. That's common. And I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just being as logical as possible, right? Even if she has a lot of options, you might be the one that she wants. And if you're withholding that from her, you lose your chance and she loses her chance. I just think that's something to keep in mind. I don't know. The next one is attractive women are high maintenance. I don't think this is always the case because attraction is based on your perspective, and some people are attracted to different types of ladies, okay? Some people are attracted to that very, it was really popular many, many, many years ago. The gothic type of look, was it even gothic? The very heavy winged liner, the dark colored lips, a lot of piercings. That's gothic, right? That perspective, people might think that's high maintenance because she, needs to put all that stuff on when she gets ready. Perhaps, right? But then there are other people who might be more attracted to someone who's a little bit like more girl next door, to which maybe she's not wearing as much makeup, she just wears a dress, whatever it is. Again, it's also your perspective of high maintenance. Maybe you mean from an emotional standpoint. Maybe she's high maintenance because she needs a lot of reassurance. Maybe then pick a person who's, I don't know, a little bit more independent. But I think attractive women and high maintenance are not necessarily as correlated as some of you guys think. Just my opinion. And the next one, if she really likes you, she will overlook your perceived flaws. I don't think this is true. I think this is true if a person has a little bit of abandonment issues or she's got some parental trauma to which she might feel like she's trying to earn your love, and so she looks over your perceived flaws. That's probably not a healthy person in general because most of those people have a lot of emotional fluctuations as well. And so if she really likes you and she still points out your flaws, this is probably a person that has, she's mentally stable, so she might be good for you. Just speculative. I hope this video was helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.